Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and compare the Galaxy S22, the Samsung Galaxy S22, against the iPhone 14 Pro and see which specific phone you should go and pick up. Not only both these phones linked down in the description, you can get them from there, you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, these two phones I think are more similar than not. Like, these two phones are going for the same demographic in a way. Although the S22 is substantially cheaper in the used market right now, but you can pick both these phones up linked down in the description. You can get them from there, you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the front, the Samsung Galaxy S22 has a 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display. Now, remember that name, dynamic AMOLED, because it's going to be familiar for the 14 Pro, and it's a very good panel, right? It probably wasn't the best panel. I think the S22 Ultra definitely is much better, but still, for a phone that's not supposed to be, I guess, the flagship of flagships, it's a really good panel. Whole bunch display, not a lot of bezel around it, and it still looks very good. It came out earlier this year. Fingerprint sensor in the display too. This is a very nice sensor or a very nice display. On the iPhone 14 Pro, on the other hand, we have a 6.1-inch Super Retina XDR OLED panel, also at 120 Hz. So that's a really cool thing. But up top, we have that dynamic island. So in my opinion, when I saw the dynamic AMOLED, I thought that was a shade kind of to, Samsung for the dynamic island and dynamic AMOLED. Very, very strange naming, but it's very cool. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. I guess we'll see what happens in the future, but I'm here for it. Anytime Apple makes a change like this, I'm really happy for it. But when it comes down to both these panels, I definitely do think the iPhone 14 Pro kind of has the better panel. I just wish this was smaller, and I wish they had a fingerprint sensor in the display. So that kind of covers it up here. Now, in terms of the rest of the build quality, the Samsung Galaxy S22 kind of seems to me that it's a little bit thinner, but I don't know. It's kind of like neck and neck. The 14 Pro has more of a premium build, I would say, because it does kind of give this a little bit of a different look, but they're kind of the same thing. A little bit more of a curved architecture on the Galaxy S22. Now, on the S22, we have a SIM card slot, which we do not have on the 14 Pro, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. Kind of a W for the S22 there. Now, on the back, frosted glass backs on both. So it's very, very similar in terms of the feeling in the hand, but you can definitely tell that the S22, I think, is a little bit lighter. We also have triple camera setups on both wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lenses. We do have that additional LiDAR sensor on the iPhone 14 Pro, which Apple really hasn't utilized too much, but still very cool to have it. And you can see that the sensors are much bigger on the iPhone 14 Pro, which I think is really cool. So we have wireless charging on both these phones. We have SOS satellite mode on the 14 Pro, which is nice, but we actually do have reverse wireless charging on the iPhone 4 on the Samsung Galaxy S22. So in the S22, we actually do have reverse wireless charging, which is so cool. That is something that no iPhones have, and I feel like Samsung is just killing it in that standpoint. Pixels have it too, and I really wish iPhones have it. It just makes sense that the iPhones have it, and they still have yet to do it, which is kind of dumb. Now, USB-C on the bottom of the S22, a lightning port on the bottom of the iPhone. So I'll definitely tell you on the display side, the iPhone may win, but the rest of the phone I'll probably give to the S22. I mean, it has a better build. I mean, I would say the build quality is better on the iPhone 14 Pro, but the cool features like the SIM card tray, the reverse wireless charging is really cool, and I wish the iPhones had it in my opinion. So that kind of covers it up there. Now, when it comes down to software and longevity, I'll definitely tell you the S22 is probably going to be one of those phones that's not going to last as long as the iPhone 14 Pro. It's going to last for still a very long time, though. If this thing even lasts another 4 years, that's going to be really impressive. For a phone at this caliber that's going to go down in price so much for the next few years, this is going to be a really good phone that you can buy that I would probably still recommend a ton of people to pick up. So in my opinion, this is a very solid phone. The iPhone 14 Pro, it just came out, so this one's theoretically going to last longer, but that doesn't mean the S22 is a bad phone inherently. Like, this phone is still going to be supported for a long time, and so is the Galaxy S22. So, just so happens the 14 Pro is probably going to last longer, so that kind of covers it up there as well. Now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The iPhone 14 Pro has that Apple A16 Bionic chip inside of it with 6 gigabytes of RAM, where the Galaxy S22 has that Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset inside with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So let's go see which one's the faster one between both. Okay, there we go. All the apps are cloud in the background, and of course we have this random pop-up. So there we go, so you guys can see. So let's get into it. S22 is here, iPhone 14 Pro is here. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Kind of the same thing. Let's go and do camera 3, 2, 1. Although the 14 Pro did look a little bit faster, I'll be honest. And it looks like the 14 Pro loaded this one up a little bit faster too. Let's go and take a photo. Let's go and up and up this photo. And I think the 14 Pro was slightly faster. I will say in terms of the animations, both are very, very fast, but I think the 14 Pro is still a smoother phone. That's kind of what we've been kind of seeing for the last few years. Now let's go and open up their app stores. 3, 2, 1. Okay, very, very close. I don't know which one was faster, which you guys may be able to tell over the camera. Now, I will say, adding to that smoothness factor, the iPhones are smoother. If you guys can tell over the camera, look at how much smoother. I'm going the same exact speed on both, and you can see, in my opinion, it seems a little bit more glitchier on something like the Galaxy S22. Hopping out of here, and that's something I've seen, throughout time. It's just not today. I noticed that. Let's go and load up some of these apps. Let's do Twitter, 3, 2, 1. Let's go and load up Snake vs. Blocks, 3, 2, 1. About the same thing, not that big of a difference. Let's go and load out this one. Let's do Genshin Impact, wherever I have this specific game at. 3, 2, 1. Now, I have stated this before, but I've played this game on tons of different people as well, or tons of different, phones, and I think both these phones do play this game very well, but I don't really think there's going to be that big of a difference from playing it on one phone over the other. If we're playing it for long periods of time, you may find the battery life to be better on one, but the gameplay itself is going to be very similar in my opinion on both. You can see the 14 Pro, much faster to load that one up. We can try Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And you can see right here, it does look like the S22 was a little bit fast. Was it? Or, yeah, the S22 was slightly faster. The iPhone 14 a little bit behind. Let's go and hop out of here. Let's go and get into Netflix, which I don't have, which is very weird. We can try Stack, 3, 2, 1. And you can see the Pixel 6 or the S22 is slightly faster. Why did I say the Pixel 6? We can do Thank You, 3, 2, 1. But in my opinion, we're already kind of seeing which one is the faster one. I think the iPhone 14 Pro and the S22 are very similar. I don't think there's a consistent winner. For bigger games and bigger apps, we kind of saw like with Genshin Impact, it was faster on the iPhone 14 Pro. But then for other apps like like Temple Run 2 and Snake vs. Blocks and Temple Run, all these other ones, it was noticeably faster on the Galaxy S22. So it's neck and neck. When it comes down to speed, I probably wouldn't pick up either one of these phones just based off the speed. Like if I'm comparing them, they're both very similar. So now let's go ahead on the cameras. Now I will definitely tell you when it comes down to both, triple camera setups on both, which is amazing. Having the type of styling on both is awesome, and I love that more than anything. Wide ultra-wide telephoto lenses on both. Both can do 4K at 60 on the front and the back, but the S22 has 8K capability, which is awesome. And in my opinion, if I'm being honest, the Galaxy S22's camera is really good. I like this camera from earlier this year, and it's easily one of my favorite cameras of all time so far. I mean, it's probably one of the better cameras right now. Obviously, the S22's Ultra is better, but this camera has so many features built in, it's not even funny. And having that 8K capability is really cool. So you have that same type of capability. So it's not like as 30x zoom as you would think, but you also have 0.6x out zoom, which isn't as much as the iPhone 14 Pros. I think it's 0.5x zoom, but still, it's a very solid lens, and you have a ton of features built in. Like if you look under modes, if you look under more, you have crazy amounts of features. So definitely when it comes down to it, the Galaxy S22 has a very solid lens. On something like the iPhone 14 Pro though, this is still a very good camera. I think this thing is going to be very, very good. It kind of has like a camera module problem right now, but you can see 0.5x zoom, you can go up to 15x zoom, which is really nice. And this is a very quality lens. Cinematic mode, you have action mode, which is like super stabilized video, which I think the S22 has as well. And you have a lot of features built in. So I'll tell you is the iPhone 14 Pro's camera is good, but the Galaxy S22's camera is overall better in my opinion. And to kind of sum up this video, I definitely would tell you the 14 Pro is a good, like this phone is a really good phone, but I don't think it's like a big difference from the 13 Pro, and even with the dynamic island, when compared to the previous iPhone, it's a big deal. But when compared to other Android phones in the market, it's not really that big of a difference. I mean, when you look at the S22, you're getting a really good display, Samsung DeX, reverse wireless charging, 8K capability on the camera, at a much cheaper price tag than the iPhone 14 Pro. So I think when it comes down to it, I think the S22 is an overall better phone, and you get the fingerprint sensor in the display. I think iPhones, I mean, they really need to start improving things. And I'm not disappointed with the 14 Pro. I think it's a good phone, but for the price and for what they brought, it's not really that big of a difference from the previous iPhones. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that means so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.